Yo, what is going on, guys? Plunge here, and today we're gonna be doing another video request, and this is the request of Brawl TV. He or she said do top 10 worst Nick shows by PhantomStride. So I'm guessing it's referencing to the Nickelodeon channel. So we're gonna be reacting to their top 10 worst TV show. It's been a while since I reacted to watch any cartoons on Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, some of those very familiar, very famous shows or channels. But I'm definitely interested to see what are their top 10 worst, because I know their best. Let's see their worst. So without any further ado, let's go watch the top 10 worst Nickelodeon TV shows.
It's time to rummage through the dumpster that is modern Nickelodeon.
I am way out of my comfort zone!
And unfortunately, there was a ton of garbage to sort through this time.
Okay.
Nick has effectively been beaten to the ground by Cartoon Network in the past decade. But it didn't start off this way. Nickelodeon began with an endless pool of creative ideas in their shows. They were constantly giving us new, fresh ideas with shows like Rocko's
Modern Life,
Hey Arnold, Invader Zim, Avatar, and Ren and Stimpy. The shows weren't always good, but you could certainly always call them creative. But sadly, this just didn't last. While Cartoon Network has mostly gotten better over the years, Nickelodeon definitely seems to have gotten worse. And so often you will hear the exact same response from people who see these new shows. Just why? Eventually, this forced them into the corner they're in today. At this point, their ratings are so down the toilet that their channel now consists of 95% SpongeBob reruns. The reason for this? An endless cycle of cringingly bad tween sitcoms with some of the saddest jokes and acting performances in recorded human history. These shows are a spit in the face to every generation, no matter what age. They're dull, unrelatable, and each sitcom uses the same annoying 3-second track of canned laughter 200 times minimum per episode.
Heard somebody needs a new mentor.
So today, let's check out the top 10 worst Nickelodeon shows.
Alright, let's get into it.
As always, if you do like these shows, that's great. It's just my silly personal opinion.
It's all about opinions, guys. People can share their opinions.
So take it with a pinch of salt. Anyway, on to the countdown. Number 10. Mr. Meaty. Imagine Jim Henson got drunk. I don't know how else to describe this gruesome, fugly disaster.
I somewhat remember watching this as a kid.
That's not the face of a kid's cartoon.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
That's the face of pure evil. Who is this show actually appealing to? The setting and bizarre jokes seem to be in a teenage demographic. But what teen honestly gets up in the morning, turns down his Linkin Park and says, "Sorry, Susan, I can't come over right now. The Muppets' satanic brain-dead cousins are on TV." The original Muppets managed to look endearing, friendly, and remain heartwarming with their clever humor and powerful emotional moments. These misshapen horrors look like they mixed Fraggle Rock and David Lynch in a blender. I don't know why, but they just decided to do all the puppet voices with the same two guys.
That was the most amazing party ever. Everyone loved it.
Credit where credit's due, though. It was unlike anything else on Nickelodeon at the time, and some of these jokes are okay. At least it was trying to be original, so it gets a high place on the list.
Okay, number 9.
Number 9. Planet Sheen.
Planet Sheen.
I often wondered what Jar Jar Binks went on to do after single-handedly eviscerating the Star Wars franchise. I think he went on to voice this show.
Where's the bathroom in this place? I gotta go serious bad. I'm talking end of the movie, just finished the mega size soda, but don't want to miss the...
Oh boy, this is the main character, isn't it? I personally wasn't a big fan of the Jimmy Neutron series, but I could see the appeal to the show. It had clever settings, and it had its share of good jokes. But the brilliant team at Nickelodeon decided the most annoying character in the show needed a spin-off. Each episode is pretty much just one long 23-minute joke. The joke being that Sheen is stupid.
Okay.
If this was an
I
even
see why it's
remotely
annoying to
endearing
watch.
character that didn't sound like Jar Jar Binks on helium, this might work for one episode. And the writers were really proud of these jokes too. In the official trailer, they even halt all the music and build up for this one incredible joke.
Entering a whole new world.
I'm just gonna call you Sheeny Weenie.
Just Sheeny, lose the weenie.
They were really proud of that line.
That
I
was
don't even
terrible.
get it.
That
Is
was
it funny
cringe.
because Sheeny rhymes with weenie? Should that have had me rolling on the floor in laughter? Am I just too stupid to get it? And just
I mean,
look at this
it's
mess of
probably for
animation.
kids, you
This
know?
is the
Kids
kind
who
of
don't know a lot of
bland,
stuff.
lazy CG animation that looks like it was crafted by a first-year animation student. No offense to first years, I'm sure you can make way better stuff than this. Like a lot of Nick's
Probably.
CG, it's basically a tacky, hideous, cheap, deplorable downgrade of Pixar. The writing on this one is particularly horrendous. Not only does Sheen completely forget about every character on Earth, including his girlfriend Libby, he doesn't even bother taking an interest in returning to Earth. I guess animating anything other than purple skies and oddly phallic-shaped rocks wasn't in the budget. And look at this brilliant setup for the villain's plan. The villain wants to get rid of Sheen, so he gets a bomb and asks him to hold it.
Wait, but how are you going to get him to hold it?
Simple. We'll tell him to.
Brilliant! I don't see why that wouldn't work. Planet Sheen is a spin-off
I mean,
show that
Sheen
is
is
nothing
dumb,
more
you know?
than a terrible
He may
time
be,
slot filler.
he may fall
was
for it.
bland, terribly written, and horrendously animated. Definitely stick to Jimmy Neutron if you're a fan of the show.
Alright, number 8.
Talia in the kitchen.
I've never
Hey
heard
kids,
of this one.
you know what's cool? Chopping tomatoes. Oh boy, you go girl. Top that garden salad with olive oil. Oh yeah, you peel that.
Okay, there's one thing that this thing is making me. It's making me hungry. I'm starving. That salad, even though it looks plain, it looks kind of good to me.
That disturbingly large potato. Yeah! Add a hint of butter to that mix. Yeah! Add icing to that cake.
Ooh, look at
Extreme
that cake,
style.
though.
You add meat to that tortilla and carefully fold it. Extreme
Okay.
style. This show actually manages to make Johnny Test feel less pandering and smarter. Like,
I'm
what
hungry
was I
now.
complaining about?
I'm pissed.
I'm going to get the cook on at Lola's. Okay, who in the history of mankind has ever said they're going to get their cook on? Had anyone writing in the staff actually ever conversed with a real teenager? Hell, had
I'm
they
gonna
ever
get my
been a
cook
teenager?
on.
Oh, and it's so agonizingly happy. Personally, as a teenager, all I really remember is just wanting to watch the world burn. While we generally grow out of that phase, why would any teenager possibly want to see this sappy, insincere, completely unrelatable garbage? And it has that hokey teen acting that clearly showed the director just threw up his hands and said, "Go Burko insane, I don't care. You kids do whatever while I go get a double cheeseburger." But try to throw some cooking in there somewhere. I mean, look at this young fellow here.
Liam
Even he looks bored with what he's
Olberg.
doing. How are we supposed to get
Can't say
invested in a
his last
show
name.
where even the actors are begging to be off the set? It's like seeing this nightmare hybrid of Johnny Test and Justin Bieber, except somehow he's even more full of himself than both combined. The only mildly redeeming factor to this one is that they don't add that damned laugh track. Bad effects and camera work done by monkeys. It's Nickelodeon's prime example of cheaply shoved out garbage that clearly had a director who didn't give a crap about any of these kids involved. Definitely give Talia in the kitchen a skip.
Okay,
And for
number 7.
Henry Danger.
Never heard of this one. Looks
I
like
thought
a
the
very
Brady
cheap
Bunch was
superhero
stupid.
cartoon.
But this is a whole
Or
new
superhero
level
show,
of
I should say.
over-reliance on that annoying 3-second canned laughter soundtrack. And they use it over and over and over.
Can't that elevator be adjusted?
Twit Flash. He's a boy, all right.
The writer for this one was the genius behind Inspector Gadget the movie. Except that may have actually been an improvement over this show. Hell, I can explain the plot to you, and that alone makes it sound stupid beyond contempt. Henry Hart is a 13-year-old boy who lives in the town of Swellview. Swellview? Is his street named Road Street? He is the sidekick known as Kid Danger, to what may be the most unoriginal name in cinema history, Captain Man. Captain Man is on its own level of unoriginality. His secret lair is under a shop called Junkin' Stuff. Oh, come on, really? This one just mystifies me in its own empty-headedness. Many Nickelodeon tween sitcoms don't seem to understand the inherent reason for a laugh track.
These animal carriers are surprisingly secure.
You actually put a laugh track in when you say something funny. That is meant to socially influence the real audience to laugh. When you simply put a laugh track after every line, this fails the purpose of the laugh track.
Yeah, it kind of gets repetitive.
Even the laugh track isn't really laughing, they just sound bored.
Oh, God.
It really points out one of the main problems with these tween sitcoms. The people in these sitcoms don't act like, well, people. They act like hyperactive monkeys on LSD. Personally, I'd give Henry Danger a skip.
I'll follow your orders. I'll skip that one.
Pig, goat,
Pig,
banana,
boat,
cricket.
banana, cricket.
My thoughts
Never
exactly.
heard of this one.
Blah. This is one of those fine shows from the color palette known as Vomit. I get that they were trying to be original with this animation style, but this show really does make me feel queasy just watching the intro. Pig Boat is essentially just 20 minutes of incoherent, nonsensical madness. They tend to do a bit more risque, crude humor in this one, with things like vomiting up internal organs and amputating arms.
This
So my
looks
best
like one of
guess
those
is that they were
shows
trying
I
to
would
the
be
next Ren and
watching
Stimpy,
if I'm
but
bored as
sadly,
hell
it
at my
backfired
home, at my
terribly
room.
on them. Oh, I can't even analyze this show when it looks so ugly. I actually think Problem Solvers was more pleasant to look at than this. At least it only made me feel like having a seizure. This one actually makes me feel like losing my lunch.
Chet, it looks like the mega bubble is starting to drip.
See, when I see that, I don't see a mega bubble. I see a dripping pile of crap hanging over your city. Now I see a tsunami of crap flooding your city. Good God.
Yes.
Who saw this animation and said, oh yeah, making a show that looks like a combination of urine, defecations, and vomit will clearly bring in the viewers. When this show first debuted, it started with a 1.2 rating and has not risen since its original air. A 1.2 rating. Hell, Barney the Dinosaur got a 3.5. Your ass is being kicked by Barney the Dinosaur, guys. Yet the brilliant executives decided it would be a smart idea to greenlight this show for a second season. Are they
There's a second
trying
season.
to sabotage their own network?
Holy shit.
They might as well have just spat directly in the viewer's face and saved time. I'm sure there's originality in these ideas, but personally, I just couldn't get past the hideous animation. This show is little more than an ugly Ren and Stimpy experiment that went horribly wrong. Definitely don't watch it, and if you do, don't watch it on a full stomach.
Alright.
And for number 5...
Fifth one, we're going to the top 5 category now.
Awesomeness human being? It has to be awesome, otherwise clearly it wouldn't be on TV.
What is
that
this?
Sounds far more like what the cameraman was telling himself when he watched these poor teen actors dance around like idiots. Just remember, Todd, you're doing this for your wife.
My name is Lauren, and
Isn't that Camilla? The other girl?
I have one. You're watching AwesomenessTV.
That's her.
Wait. Go back a sec.
I have one. You're watching.
What was that?
That's Leah Marie Johnson.
That was the worst edit I have ever seen. But honestly, I'm actually more curious about what her censored out fact was than watching these young ladies boogie like they're about to collapse drunk at a disco.
I have one.
My career is going down the toilet. We start with what is perhaps the dumbest opening line I have heard in, well, admittedly the past 5 minutes. But it's still stupid.
My boyfriend's the best because he buys me chocolates every single day.
No way, my boyfriend's the
Oh
best.
boy. Surely women don't actually talk like this, do they? I mean, maybe the buck-toothed lady who lives in a trailer down the road named Bertha talks like this, but I don't think the majority of teen girls talk like this.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know we were back.
She's got chocolate on her face.
Yeah, that's the
this
joke.
Is worth
That's
not
the joke.
1, but 2 laugh
That's
tracks.
the joke.
Just some smoothies.
I'm sorry, 3 laugh tracks.
Did I get it?
Truly, we are at the peak of sophistication in humor now.
How about now?
No,
I can
five
see
laugh
this.
tracks.
They're trying to
She
appeal
spilled some food.
with the
It's not
YouTube
that
style
funny.
of making videos
Imagine if
back
you were
then.
at the table and every single person at the table erupted in laughter when
Like
you
this
spilled
is
something.
this is Ray William Johnson, but worse, of course. Yeah, just laugh tracks everywhere.
And for some puzzling reason, the audience erupts into screams of terror every time they change scene every 12 seconds.
Please. From this next girl.
Seriously, they sound like they're screaming for their life. Are they setting fire to an audience every time they change sets? Okay, Bill, sketch is over. Light 'em up. This show is an insult to teenage women everywhere. It credits women with the intelligence of a cheese stick and is void of any sort of depth whatsoever. The viewers deserve better than this. The actors deserve better than this. And AwesomenessTV deserves to stay down the toilet. Next one, light 'em up.
Alright,
Number 4.
on to number 4. Ew, SpongeBob.
Fanboy and Chum.
Fanboy
Back in
and Chum.
2007, Nickelodeon could gain rights to one of two shows, Adventure Time or Fanboy and Chum. And guess what the brilliant executives chose?
They didn't do a good job on that
What does
one.
Adventure Time have against Fanboy and Chum? Oh, this is that level of annoying. The level where I begin having to watch the show in 5-second segments to avoid slamming my head into my desk repeatedly. And the voices. The voices aren't voice acting. The squealy voice in the intro is more like a form of torture. His voice is like fingernails scraping on a chalkboard. Oh, jeebus! Who designed these cartoons? Something like Hotel Transylvania may have had wacky animation, but it was controlled and it had quiet moments where it could be still and sink in the moment. And there's layers to it that weren't just appealing to a 6-year-old demographic.
This
the lyrics
one
of the intro consist of ba 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 ba. Oh god, end this intro already. This is the longest 50-second intro of my life. By the end,
I mean, I can clearly see this is catered to like 5 years old and below,
the
you know?
7-year-old's attention, which they very likely might. This show is like putting hyperactive 7-year-olds in charge of Nickelodeon. It's just another of those lazy CG designs that look like it was done in a Korean sweatshop. All the characters look like Rugrats rejects that had their faces flattened. Even the other people in the show are bored of these two's jokes. Like this boy's telling a joke that he's not wearing his nose. The joke being, he's not wearing his nose. Oh, come on! The gotcha nose game stops being entertaining once we develop a mental cognitive capacity past that of a 1-year-old. It's gross, aggravating, and I think the show was specifically designed for ages embryo to 1.
Yeah,
Any older than
probably.
that, and they may try to destroy the TV.
Probably. Alright, third one.
Number 3. Nick Studio 10. Some people probably know I'm not the first person to say this is a bad show. When I was first looking at the trailers for this show,
And Ariana, of
literally
course,
all I
and
could
the
find was
other
rants
girl,
and reviews
forgot her
about
name.
how bad it is.
We should make a Roy
Oh,
G.
it's
smoothie.
A
Noah.
Roy G. Biv smoothie. I can't wait. There's no real
Ew.
direction to this
What the
show.
fuck is that?
It's like being at the center of an awkward teen prom dance, listening to people make painful small talk, and all talking over each other at once. I'm not sure I can even put this on the list because it's not really a show. A show would indicate some sort of coherent plot, lines, and jokes for that matter. This is essentially just teens shouting awkwardly over each other because they know they're on camera, while desperately trying to figure out a way to entertain the audience. And when they attempt to do coherent jokes, it is biblically horrendous.
Oh,
A
Noah.
fart in a jar.
Sitting alone when I thought to myself, why don't I fart in a jar and put it on the shelf?
Took the top off a jar and put it up to my butt.
A song with teens badly rapping about farts.
I can see
to a fart
OnlyFans girls
soundtrack.
doing this.
I don't mean it just sounds
Farts
bad.
in a
It
jar.
is literally a fart soundtrack with teens badly rapping over the top. What, armpit noises too highbrow? We had to go with farts? Even the poor teen actors look like they're in pain reciting these bad fart lines. It is the steps to putting your fart in a jar so you can smell it later. So you would need to have the intelligence and forethought to put a fart into a jar, cap it, and let it sit for a week so someone with equal intelligence can plan to open it in a week. It's like waiting to watch this abysmal rap in a week. It feels like waiting for a kick in the nads. Either one is going to leave me crippled on the floor at how unpleasant it was. In the end though, there was just so much hatred for Nick Studio 10. It interrupted other Nick shows, it was obnoxious every second, it had horrible skits, and the effects actually made other Nick sitcoms look good in comparison.
That is so good. Oh, you didn't like it?
It tastes like what you see at like an amusement park on the floor.
We call it vomit, my dear Jeanette, and I think you've given an excellent
Jeanette
analogy of this
McCarthy,
show.
I remember
and honestly,
her name now.
You just gave the best line delivery of this entire show. So I salute you, and I really hope this one doesn't go on your resume.
Ariana. You have to go through so much shit.
And for number 2,
alright, second one.
Breadwinners.
Breadwinners.
Fanboy and Chum Chum's intro is bad. But jeebus, I just can't get past Breadwinners' intro. Hell, Breadwinners in general. Every single moment of this show is obnoxious, loud, filled with butts, farts, and mindless hyperactivity.
This is definitely
I have
for
talked about
kids
this one
with
of my worst
very
cartoons
short
list,
attention
so I'll
span.
try and keep it brief. Honestly,
That's definitely
most of
Mickey
the tween
Mouse. They're
Nickelodeon
spoofing
sitcoms
him.
just sort of mixed together into this horrendously acted cesspool of zero creation, effort, or direction. But none of them managed to come even close to the aggravation known as Breadwinners. I discovered while researching this show that, like Cartoon Network's number 1, it was imported from YouTube. As much as I respect the independent artists coming up with original ideas from YouTube, why do networks keep importing crap off YouTube?
Big baby birds, destroyer!
Oh, this show is a close second to Cartoon Network's worst. A very close second. Breadwinners was so much of a joke, in fact, that the original YouTube creator thought it was a joke when Nickelodeon was contacting him. Wait, seriously? You guys actually want to make an animated series out of this thing? I just made it to troll some commenters, you know. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. With all the money being thrown into Nickelodeon right now, they continue to throw their money into these 2 badly animated flash ducks that spend most of the episode shaking their butts at the audience.
But we ditched those biker ducks!
That's
Just
strangely
why? The more I learn about this show, the more horrendous
You know, someone had
every
to
shape and
animate him
form it
shaking
becomes.
his butt like that.
In an episode I recently discovered, the ducks essentially say to their 4 to 6-year-old fan base that drugging your date is okay. One of the ducks spikes the drink of a female duck in order to get her to fall in love with him.
Jenny quackles to eat this love loaf, and thus win her love fair and square. Now that's true love.
Wow.
No,
And this
that's
time,
not true
there's
love.
no arguing, oh, it's for adults. I dare someone to try and make the argument that Breadwinners is for adults. The mindless hyperactivity with no direction whatsoever. The endless butt shaking. It manages to surpass them all. The constant movement and flashing colors. I'm surprised this show hasn't given kids seizures. I still think this is one of the worst cartoons of all time.
If this is bad,
and certainly one
I
of the
can't wait
worst
to see
Nickelodeon
the first
shows.
one.
I will never recommend this show. I
Alright.
really thought Breadwinners was the worst.
What's
But
the worst?
Once again, the nightmare resurfaced from my mind. Something even worse than Breadwinners. The worst bile Nickelodeon ever came up with. Fortunately, it was cancelled after 1 season due to absolutely bombing and being critically panned. But without further ado,
This is weird. What
let's
the hell's
check it out.
happening to SpongeBob?
And the number 1 worst Nickelodeon show of all time is...
Which means it's Fred Day, which means it's time for Fred the Show! Right now on Nick!
Fred the Show. Oh boy. Just wow. I always knew this would be number 1. Ever since I saw the trailer. Nothing
Hey
can
man,
top
you
this.
used to be the
Of
most
all the
subscribed
wonderful, creative,
YouTube channel.
inspiring content on YouTube.
AVGN?
Nickelodeon chose the most
I
annoying
know those
channel
guys.
they could find. It takes a special kind of obnoxious and stupidity to be this aggravating. To see him invade my TV, it was horrifying. It was actually what caused me to stop watching Nickelodeon altogether. You take all the combined crappiness of Nickelodeon tween
John
sitcoms,
Cena is in this
mix
film,
that
actually.
together,
That's
then
the only
add an
reason I
obnoxious,
watched that.
arrogant guy with endless jump cuts and a voice-pitch synthesizer. Fred the Show is the ruling king over these sitcoms. It reigns supreme as the absolute worst sitcom I have ever seen. This is just as bad as my #1 worst Cartoon Network. Possibly worse. It wouldn't be so bad if this boy wasn't so full of himself. He's just so proud that he put a high-pitched synthesizer to his voice, jump cutting and speaking like a mentally challenged ape. Oh, that was nice. Let's see that again. I don't like tearing into independent creators. But why? Why do executives keep greenlighting the absolute crap of YouTube?
I mean, Fred's
Why not
appeal
greenlight some of
back
the
then
great
was
stuff
really,
we have
really
on
big.
here? Out of all the endless, brilliant,
Nostalgia
funny,
Critic,
entertaining
AVGN.
channels on YouTube. For some reason, networks will greenlight only the most annoying, obnoxious 7-year-old ear-piercing garbage they can get their hands on, and somehow be surprised when it bombs. I beg you, please don't watch Fred the Show. It needs to disappear.
Too late,
and remain
I've seen the
exclusive to
movies,
its
man.
7-year-old demographic. I consider it easily the absolute worst Nickelodeon show of all time. And once again, I am so thankful that this show
Poor
bombed
Fred.
badly. Honestly, no one can blame the teen actors in these shows. From the feedback we've heard
They're
from
right,
some of the
they're
tween
right,
actors like
man.
Montana, Nickelodeon was distant, uncaring, and completely ruthless to them.
Yeah,
How are
you
they
can't
meant
get
to
angry
invested when
at
they're
the
treated like
actors.
that? Honestly though, tween sitcoms
They're just there
can be
having their
done right.
fucking life
Nickelodeon
sucked
sitcoms
out,
like
man.
Drake and Josh, Ken and Kel, hell, even iCarly are remembered fondly by fans because they were relatable. These characters were likable, and went through many believable situations that many people could relate to. The acting didn't feel soulless, the jokes felt more sharp, and when an emotional situation did come up, it was actually believable. And even if a joke didn't always hit, we liked these characters for who they were, so it didn't matter. Sadly, there's no real happy ending to Nickelodeon's story right now. Nickelodeon's final trump card right now is SpongeBob. and has
SpongeBob,
been
man.
for a very long
SpongeBob
time.
still.
But personally, when I think Nickelodeon, I'll always think of the classic creative shows like Invader Zim, Ren and Stimpy, Avatar. Hell, even old SpongeBob episodes had their classics. And at least there'll always be plenty of those to choose from. Do you think I missed a couple? If you think so, feel free to let me know in the comments. A special
Okay.
thanks to Clint of the Rise and Fall of Nickelodeon, who helped me with some of the background knowledge of Nickelodeon. I've linked his awesome page in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Wow. The script writing on this one, definitely better than Nick shows, man. It's funny. This is very entertaining. Thank you for suggesting this, actually. Okay, guys, so that's it for the top 10 worst Nickelodeon TV shows by the PhantomStride. Thank you again, Brawl TV, for suggesting that very awesome video. The script writing, superb, enjoyable commentary. I like this guy. I haven't seen his channel, but I would definitely subscribe. And also, you guys should do as well. A lot of time, effort, and research goes into those types of videos. If you guys don't know, you have to write your script. You have to gather the clips that you have to use. You have to edit it. Of course, you have to render, post it on YouTube. So props to PhantomStride for just putting on the effort and just researching and possibly even watching the worst Nickelodeon TV shows out there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit like, subscribe, follow our socials, get the link in the description. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers. We're currently at 639 subs. We're so close to 1,000, so make sure to tell your family and friends about our channel. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, good